So it looks like Doge and Elon Musk are targeting the VA next. Had a quick video here about just some of the fallout from that. The more of these like federal employee firings that we hear about, the more nervous I get. Because if you understand any of the goals of Project 2025, you'll know that Schedule F is what they want to try and change a lot of these jobs that are, I guess, coded as GS, which means that they're non-political appointees. Non-political, MAGA, non-political. Just because they rule against Trump doesn't mean they're fucking political. Maybe it just means he breaks the law that much, but I digress. Gutting the VA is a big slap in the face to all veterans. I don't care who you are. Is just a blatant slap in the face to any veteran out there when you hear about all the programs that are being cut, when you hear about the workforce that they're trying to cut. What's this comment say? We need VA workers that care about their job and actually care about the veterans. Wow, what a deep take. What a deep, brilliant take. I think that's a lot of the people that you have in the VA probably match this description exactly. There's bureaucracy. There's sometimes things that their hands are tied on maybe, and they can't always just make things happen for people that, that they really want to happen in a certain moment. But it doesn't mean they don't care about their job, and it doesn't mean that they don't care about veterans. If you want to blame bureaucracy for that, sure, go for it. But the way it's being, the bureaucracy is being dealt with by Trump and Musk is just blatantly illegal. You can't go about it that way. It's too far of an overreach, and it's going to cause too many problems in the immediate, especially. And I mean, long term, it's hard to say what the type of effects will have, especially if they implement Schedule F, where they start hiring people who are politically motivated to do what Trump wants or what Trump says. That's terrifying to me. If there's ever a point where the majority of the people who work for our federal government are just genuinely MAGA, I mean, say goodbye to everything, everybody. Say goodbye to our democracy as you know it, and everything. That's super scary. Schedule F is one of those Project 2025 things that freaks me the fuck out. So, all right, let's dive into the workers that are being laid off here.
Active orders from the Trump administration on federal workers. Hundreds of thousands of these workers live right here in the DMV. They're our neighbors, and tonight many of them are facing an uncertain future.
Yeah, our sources within OPM say some health and human services workers are being laid off tonight. And dozens of federal agencies are laying off scores of workers as President Trump shrinks the federal workforce. I spoke with a worker who got an email last night saying his services are no longer needed.
9 million veterans are watching you give them the middle finger.
Just hours after this protest outside the Department of Veterans Affairs Thursday, more than 1,000 probationary workers were let go. These are employees who joined the agency or took on a new role somewhat recently, like Nathan Bunch.
I was surprised. I was like, oh, this is it.
He received a termination email at around 7:30 Thursday night.
There was this idea that maybe we were like maybe safe from some of it early on. That maybe certain agencies would be protected.
Bunch says that thought changed quickly as President Trump and Elon Musk continued to repeat their intentions.
I got elected on making government better, more efficient, and smaller. And that's what we're doing.
Mr. Trump, you may have gotten elected in part on some of those things. You also got elected because you promised fucking eggs and groceries would be cheaper, but you already backed out of that because of feasibility. Though we understand that feasibility, or whether or not you technically can do something, is not necessarily always a means of Trump not embarking or chasing something. Though feasibility is certainly less important or more important to him than following the law. Nobody elected Donald Trump to break the law. Maybe some people had that in their mind, but 77 million people don't just go out to vote for somebody that they assume is going to break the law and is going to cut off funding, freeze funding, whatever the fuck you want to call it, to many, many, many federal programs that we all rely on, and to just start firing indiscriminately federal workers from agencies that depend on it, like Veterans Affairs, like the Office of Veterans Affairs. Like, that's insanity, right? Can we not agree that this is fucking crazy? I mean, my God. You know, I'm sure that this may be something that needs a ruling from a judge on this particular matter as it pertains to the VA. But pretty much every other situation that's been brought to a court where they're trying to fire federal workers has been blocked. And it wouldn't get blocked if it wasn't fucking illegal. We've had judges appointed by Trump himself, judges appointed by Obama and Biden, and even back to fucking Reagan, dude. There was a Reagan judge that blocked one of Trump's measures because it's just so patently, blatantly illegal. It's insane. And I imagine that the play here in the long term is eventually to get some of these cases up to the Supreme Court so that they can fall back on the immunity ruling to say, no, Trump can absolutely do this, blah, blah, blah. You know, and that's gonna freak me the fuck out. You know, when one of these is heading up to the Supreme Court. My hope is that they choose not to hear certain cases because of political questions and whatnot. But I think that I think that they're well in the pocket of not just Trump, but like the Heritage Foundation and the authors of Project 2025. I think that they're all so tightly in cahoots that if the question ever gets to the Supreme Court on whether or not is what Trump doing legal or illegal, I just fear the worst. I feel that once it gets to the Supreme Court, that's gonna, the writing's on the wall at that point. So gonna finish this video, but yeah, that's Trump. Nobody elected Trump to break the law. You know, nobody should have. It's insanity.
You'd have a long, stressful day at work, and then you'd get an email that was like, hey, do you want to resign? You should resign. You can resign. There's going to be big cuts, and you should resign.
Bada Bunch says he didn't think twice about resigning or taking that so-called buyout offer because from healthcare to resources, the VA helps millions of our nation's heroes and their families each year. Bada Bunch joined the VA in November of last year because some of his family members served and he wanted to do more to help.
You know, in my interview, some of the programs that I talked about and then started working on were suicide prevention, protecting veterans from fraud and abuse.
Now, Bada Bunch says he's worried about vulnerable veterans, but also his future.
We want to have kids, and we're both, you know, decent income earning individuals that are trying to start our own family and our own version of the American dream, if you will. And then, you know, just kind of the rug gets pulled out from you.
Yeah. I mean, I think the way he phrased it there is probably best. You know, feels like the rug got pulled out from under you, you know. Obviously it sounds like they're doing what they've done in many of these other cases where instead of just firing people, they're essentially offering them a buyout. Sounds like they're heavily encouraging people to take the buyout and to go ahead and resign. So and from what I've heard, the reason that they do it this way is because it is illegal to just fire these people, and they don't want that type of legal smoke. Apparently, it seems like at least that's not what they're jumping to first. They're probably, it sounds like they're you know, taking it one step at a time, and that their first thing is to try and see if they can get some of these people to take a buyout. I don't even know that the buyout's legally binding. I don't know if they can legally offer a buyout in these cases. So that I think we'll have to wait and see some sort of decision on, but certainly firing these people is not good at all. So we'll see if they end up actually like flat out terminating people at some point against court orders. And that's, you know, that's kind of what might play into the constitutional crisis that I'm going to be talking about later today.